Imagine a land so ancient, so powerful, that it birthed the very essence of humanity. A place where the first footsteps of mankind echoed through time, where the sun kissed the earth with warmth, and rivers flowed with light. This isn't just any land. This is the heart of the world, a place known by names older than the maps we know today. Welcome to the untold story of Alkebulan, the original name of Africa, a name that means Mother of Mankind. Before the world called it Africa, before borders were drawn and histories rewritten, this was a land of empires, wisdom, and unbreakable spirit. So, come with me on a journey through time to discover the real story of Africa, a story of brilliance, resilience, and a legacy that refuses to be forgotten. Let's start at the very beginning. Long before modern civilizations, before skyscrapers and smartphones, there was a vast and vibrant land. This land was cradled by mighty rivers like the Nile, warmed by an endless sun, and surrounded by the Atlantic and Indian Oceans. It was a land of endless forests, sprawling deserts, towering mountains with snow-capped peaks, and rivers that gave life to everything they touched. Here, in this sacred soil, humanity took its first steps. Scientists agree that the first humans walked upright on this very land, their heartbeats marking the rhythm of a new era. They called this place Alkebulan, a name whispered with reverence, a name that recognized the earth as a nurturing mother, not just a piece of geography. Alkebulan, a word of power, of warmth, of deep memory. Ancient peoples like the Moors and Nubians knew this name, and early scholars wrote it in their texts. But over time, this name faded into silence, buried under layers of history and forgotten by many. Today, we're bringing it back to life. From the fertile banks of the Nile rose a civilization, so advanced that it still amazes the world. They called their land Kemet, though we know it today as Egypt. But Kemet was far more than just pyramids and pharaohs. It was a center of learning, a place where knowledge thrived long before universities existed. The people of Kemet were engineers, healers, poets, and spiritual leaders. They lived by a guiding principle called Ma'at, which stood for truth, balance, order, and justice. Their contributions to the world are staggering. They gave us writing through hieroglyphs, pioneered early forms of surgery, created awe-inspiring architecture, and even developed a calendar to track time. They studied the stars long before telescopes were invented, mapping the heavens with precision. They explored the mysteries of the soul long before the field of psychology was named. Kemet wasn't just a place. It was a beacon of human achievement. South of Kemet, another mighty civilization thrived, Kush. This kingdom was powerful and proud, its kings building over 200 pyramids that rivaled those of their northern neighbors. Some of these kings even ruled over Kemet itself, earning the title of Black Pharaohs. They were children of the same Nile, basking under the same sun, sharing a deep connection with the land and its people. Kush was a land of strength, its legacy carved into stone and history. To the east lay the mysterious kingdom of Punt, often called the Divine Land by the people of Kemet. Punt was a place of riches, perfumes, gold, and ancient wisdom. Egyptian queens sent ships across the sea to trade with Punt's rulers, returning with treasures and stories of a land that seemed almost magical in its beauty and purity. Though much about Punt remains a mystery, its influence on the ancient world is undeniable. In the north, along the Mediterranean coast, stood ancient Carthage, a powerhouse founded by Phoenician settlers on African soil. Carthage became a superpower, rivaling even the mighty Roman Empire. Its greatest general, Hannibal, is remembered as one of the most brilliant military minds in history. He famously crossed the Alps with elephants to challenge Rome, striking fear into the hearts of his enemies. But after Carthage fell to Rome, the victors renamed the land. Some say the name Africa came from a local Berber tribe called the Afri, who lived near modern-day Tunisia. Others believe it came from the Greek word Afrique, meaning without cold, or the Latin Africa, meaning sunny. The Arabs later called it Ifriqiya. Whatever the origin, one truth remains. Africa did not name itself. The name was given by outsiders, a label that replaced the ancient names like Alkebulan. Now, let's journey west, across the golden sands of the Sahara Desert, to a land of unimaginable wealth. Here rose Ouagadougou, later known as the Ghana Empire. This empire wasn't built on myths or legends. It was built on gold, literal rivers of it. Ghana controlled the trade of salt, gold, ivory, and even knowledge, becoming a hub of commerce and culture. Its rulers were so powerful that their wealth was known across continents. After Ghana came the Mali Empire, led by the legendary Mansa Musa. His pilgrimage to Mecca in the 14th century was so grand that it stunned the world. Mansa Musa carried so much gold, worth billions of dollars in today's money, that he caused inflation in every city he passed through. His empire was not just rich in gold, but in wisdom. In the city of Timbuktu, libraries overflowed with books, and scholars studied astronomy, medicine, law, and literature. Timbuktu was like the Silicon Valley of its time, a center of innovation and learning that drew people from far and wide. After Mali, the Songhai Empire emerged as a new powerhouse. It was a land of law, trade, and education, stretching across vast territories. Songhai stood tall for centuries. Its influence felt across West Africa. But eventually, foreign invaders with advanced weapons and unchecked greed brought it to its knees. Yet even in defeat, the spirit of Songhai lived on in the hearts of its people. Far to the south, beyond the Zambezi River, stood Great Zimbabwe, a marvel of stone and ingenuity. This city boasted massive towers and intricate walls, all built without mortar. When European explorers first saw it, they were stunned by its grandeur, but refused to believe that Africans could have created such a masterpiece. Yet we did. Great Zimbabwe is proof that Africa was never just a collection of tribes, as some have claimed. Africa was architectural, spiritual, sovereign, and supreme. From the Dogon people in Mali, who understood the stars and the cosmos through their ancient knowledge, to the San people in South Africa, whose cave art tells stories of life thousands of years ago, Africa has always been a land of deep understanding. We understood healing through herbs and rituals. We understood life and the afterlife, believing our ancestors were not just memories, but living forces guiding us. We sought balance through oracles, not out of fear, but out of respect for harmony. Our drums weren't just instruments. They were a language, carrying messages across villages. Our masks weren't mere decorations. They were symbols of identity and spirit. This was the soul of Africa, a soul that pulsed with life and meaning. But then came a dark chapter, a silence that fell over the land. Foreign ships arrived on our shores, not to trade as equals, but to take. They came for gold and took our people. They came for land and stole our names. In 1884, at the Berlin Conference, European powers sat around a table and sliced Africa into pieces like a cake. They drew borders with rulers and pens, creating countries without ever stepping foot on our soil. They planted flags, erased languages, destroyed sacred shrines, and outlawed our ancient names. They taught the world that Africa was a place of darkness, poverty, and chaos. They rewrote our story, painting us as less than we were. But Africa never forgot who she was. Beneath the weight of oppression, beneath the lies told about her, Africa remembered her greatness. And today, something incredible is happening. The children of Alkebulan are awakening. They are reclaiming their history, telling the old stories in new ways. They're dancing to the beat of ancient drums while embracing modern technology like drones and digital platforms. They are rebuilding what was hidden, restoring what was lost. Across the world, in every industry, from technology to fashion, from music to science, African voices are rising. The spirit of Alkebulan fights on, endless and unbroken. This land, once called Alkebulan, is finding her voice again, and she's not asking for permission to speak. The world needs to hear her story, not from textbooks written in distant lands, but from the very soil of Africa herself. It needs to hear it from the rhythm of her people, from the truth that has always lived here. Africa's story isn't over. It's not lost in the pages of history. In fact, it's just beginning. The echoes of Alkebulan still resonate through modern-day Africa, in the laughter of children, in the markets buzzing with life, in the innovations shaping the future. This land has seen empires rise and fall, has endured pain and triumph, and still it stands tall. The spirits of our ancestors walk with us, reminding us of who we are and who we can be. So let's honor them by telling the real story of Africa, a story of strength, of brilliance, of a people who gave the world so much and continue to give. This is Alkebulan. This is Africa. And her voice will be heard now and forever.